adventurous, but it'll never be our past. You can distance in your world, you'll never ever change the past. Yeah, yeah.
Hey everybody, it's Fight Club Hubs. Welcome to another episode of GVN Live, and we are coming near the end of the season. We are going to be going on winter break late December, so we got 3 more episodes counting today. Today is going to be a very important episode to watch because, well, there's a lot of really heavy shit to talk about today. And, well, let's, before we get into the heavy shit, let's go around, let's do the round table bullshit, and let's introduce the cast as always. There's Jen right over there. There's Mark burning down there. How you guys doing?
I'm not in hell.
I did not say that. Don't
You
insinuate.
didn't say you were
That
hell,
was
you just said you were burning.
That was extremely implied.
I mean, fair.
All right, but how you doing, Mark?
I mean, I'm okay. I function. I exist.
And welcome to the channel, Mr. Pure Instinct. How are you today, sir? And Jan, how are you?
I'm good, actually. I had a couple of days over the weekend that were super disassociative, so that was fun. But
You don't do that.
Yeah, no, I don't like doing it very often, but yeah, it's a thing. A lot of personal stuff kind of came up over the weekend that I was like really didn't want to have to deal with, but had to deal with it anyway, so I did. So that was a fun time. But other than that, yeah, I'm good.
Awesome. Someone ask me how I'm doing.
How
No.
are you doing?
No. Nobody fucking cares how you're doing, you bald piece of shit.
All right, good night, everybody. This was a great show. See you next time.
Fine. How are you fucking doing? Jesus Christ.
This is
I
how
am
I'm fucking doing.
Oh, so you got a terrible game in the mail? Congratulations. Your mother and I are
It's a
very proud of
terribly
you.
awesome fucking game, sir, so fuck you.
That game just looks like so much shit.
I mean, yeah, but so did the first two, so...
Oh,
Yeah, but the first game actually looked like technically competent at the time that it came out. Like, nothing about what I have seen of that game now makes me feel anything other than, oh, that game's going to be fucking terrible.
well, to be truthfully honest, it plays perfectly well. It plays a lot better than the first 2 games. You
And
can
that says a lot considering the system that it was on, so...
It played fine on the Xbox. It played fine on the Dreamcast. What they did with the with Shenmue 3, I mean, yeah, granted, people are complaining always about the graphics and how it looks like from like a game from 10 years ago or 15 years ago.
They used the Dreamcast engine that they used for one.
No,
Yeah,
they used Unreal, so
which is what they used on the Dreamcast back in the day.
they didn't use Unreal.
used-
They didn't have Unreal wasn't even around on the Dreamcast until like
No, it
halfway
was.
through its lifespan.
Yeah, it was.
No, it was. The Unreal Engine existed at that point.
Yeah, it did.
There's only one game that used it on the Dreamcast, though, and that was Unreal Tournament. And that didn't come out till the end of the system's lifespan. But anyway, I really like what they've done with the game. The combat, some people are really split about that. Some people find it awkward. I find it to be, you know, breath of fresh air. It almost feels more Tekken-ish than Virtual Fighter-ish, which was kind of weird. 2 punch attacks, 2 kick attacks, a block. There's no throwing, which is kind of a disappointment because you could do a lot of throwing combos in the first 2 games. But, you know, that's fine. It actually opens up to make it a much more deeper combat system, in my opinion. Way you explore and interact with the environment is actually somewhat improved. It doesn't take forever to, like, you know, go through somebody's drawers. And I actually like the fact that you have more control of Ryu and how he moves around his environment. He's not robotic in his movements anymore. You can actually, like, move him around in a nice fluid manner, and it's not, like, awkward. So I really like it. I'm probably about a quarter of the way through the game. I think I finally got out of the first chapter of the game. It's pretty big. It's pretty gorgeous, actually, when you get to like when you get to the next town over. As weird as that sounds. No sailors yet. Moving on, though, so...
Memes?
Memes, indeed. Someone get Mega 64. Anyway. Starting off today, we are going to be hitting a big subject. This is something that has been really making the rounds all over the internet today, and that is the COPPA and, of course, just right afterwards, the FTC getting involved with YouTube. And for the past 2.5, 3 weeks, people have been losing their shit. There's been a video popping up literally every day, dozens of videos popping up every day, mostly clickbait, because some of these people don't really know what the fuck they're talking about, using manners of scare tactics, talking about how, oh, their channels are ruined, they might as well leave and shut down their YouTube channel. And, I mean, there is cause for concern, and a lot of that is mostly from misinformation, or things being disproportionate in terms of the information that's being given. And I'm going to turn this over to Mark, who will explain all of this and hopefully put some of you at ease.
Okay, so let us assume for a moment that you are not a content creator on YouTube, and that you don't pay attention to the behind-the-scenes stuff. So let me give you a quick TLDR here. The FCC basically came to YouTube and said, look, the way that you are handling content that is targeted toward minors is bad. So we are going to ask you to adhere to a very specific set of standards dubbed COPPA. And if you don't adhere to this set of standards, you're going to be fined. And YouTube said, okay. And then they announced to the people that are making all of this content, oh yeah, we're also going to have an automated process involved behind the scenes that's going to, like, we're going to do two things here. The first thing is we're going to set up a switch that you can turn on that will allow you to set your channel as either kid-friendly content or not kid-friendly content, or it will allow you to choose on a case-by-case basis. The second thing that we're going to do is we are going to use an automated algorithm to determine if your videos contain kid-friendly content, and if they do, we are going to automatically assign your video to the kid-friendly tag, whatever, the kid-friendly, like the you know, kids content, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And like that's as far as that goes. But they also publicize the idea that if a video is misdocumented content-wise, that the content creator, yeah, because YouTube, well, I'm going to get into that. So as YouTube has documented that, the FCC have documented, if your video is improperly characterized, you can be fined up to $45,000.
Is it per video, or is it just in general?
Per video.
Per video.
Right. So what you've been seeing is a lot of content creators have been freaking the fuck out, basically saying, you know, I can't do this. My content is going to be this, that, and the other way. I'm going to be fined. And YouTube is doing nothing to assuage all of these issues. They are doing nothing to make content creators feel better about all of this. Here's the thing. You may have noticed that when I was explaining all of this, I was pretty vague about explaining how all of these rules actually work, and there's a reason for that. So is YouTube. Nobody's actually coming to content creators and explaining to them how this shit works, except for a few content creators who are not the most popular out of the marketplace. Now, I did some research to figure out what all of this meant, and I also actually saw a video from Foldable Human, Dan Olson, which I retweeted. If you follow me on Twitter and you have not watched that video, I would recommend watching that video to get a full understanding of how all of this would potentially impact content creators. But here is the short form version of it. You're not going to fucking be fined. I want to start there. You are not going to fucking be fined.
Okay, let me just go over here and click not kid friendly.
It doesn't matter. It literally does not matter. In fact, here's the thing. You do want to click not kid friendly, but not because of worrying about fines.
Nope. You just don't want our video to end up on the screen of some young child and then hearing some angry parent.
Nope.
No?
Nope. Nope. Doesn't fucking matter. Does not fucking matter. Let me explain to you how this works. COPPA, as a policy, as a law, exists for one specific reason and one specific reason alone. YouTube was collecting advertising metric data from children. That's it.
And that's what COPPA is built to prevent.
And that's what COPPA is built to enforce, more importantly. Here's the thing, right? The FCC does not give a shit about what kind of content is appearing on YouTube that kids are seeing. Now, they should. Let's absolutely be fucking crystal clear about this. They should. Because there are a lot of absolutely god-awful, terrible fucking YouTube channels that are exploiting the fact that kids are able to just see them because they just let shit cycle for hours and hours. Where you've got, like, Hitler doing the Finger Friends song, or fucking pregnant Elsa and Spider-Man running around a grocery store. Like, this is absolute garbage, and this is what people are kind of sort of believing this is about, because I've talked to a few people who don't really understand the situation, and they were of the understanding that that was what this was meant to deal with. It is not. The FCC does not give a fuck what content is appearing in front of your children. What they care about is they don't want kids being collected information-wise for advertising, because that's illegal. So, COPPA is specifically designed to protect children's data from being collected. So, if your video shows up in the child-friendly content tag, like if you get made, if your video gets made a child-friendly video, they absolutely do not give a single solitary shit what the content of that video is. You are not ever going to be fined as a content creator, because it doesn't fucking matter to them. Here's the thing. The possibility might exist if you are making decidedly kid-friendly content, like that gears towards children, that isn't tagged as children's content, but it isn't like Nintendo games. You know, it's stuff that would very specifically, purposely, and purposefully apply to children, and that would attract advertising in that way. So this is really not something that YouTube content creators should ever need to worry about. And I don't think that a YouTube content creator is ever going to be fined for this, frankly speaking. But YouTube is in no hurry to correct that misapprehension. Okay, whatever, right? It's if I'm not going to be fined, it doesn't impact me in any meaningful way. Well, no. Here's the thing. The FCC told YouTube, look, all you really need to do is an opt-in, opt-out situation. Just give them a fucking check mark that says what the shit on their channel is meant to be. And, like, you know, if there's a 10% false positive, YouTube is not going to be fined for that. The content creators themselves are the ones actually making this determination. It'll be fine. YouTube says, no, 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 we're going to put in an automated system that will detect whether or not your content is child-friendly. The FCC specifically says, you probably shouldn't do that. It's not a fucking good idea. YouTube says, nope, gonna do it anyway. If your content is detected to be child-friendly by this algorithm that they're putting in place, it's not going to put you into a position where you're going to get a fine. What it's going to do is it's going to stick you under child-friendly tags on YouTube. What that means is all of the engagement metrics that you have available to you are just fucking gone.
Mm-hmm.
No commenting, no liking or disliking videos. You know, like the various ways of sorting and tagging videos are just removed from you as a content creator.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to go through and dispute that process with YouTube if this happens. Which means this is another case of having to deal with automation and like videos being flagged in some type of way where your options are go through the process and to have your video manually reviewed by somebody, or they say that it's manually reviewed by somebody and it isn't. Mm-hmm. And sitting in this child-friendly tag for weeks where nothing gets done, or constantly pulling down your video, attempting to edit the offending content, and then re-uploading it and hoping for the best.
Mm.
It's just literally going to be yet another thing that's going to piss off content creators. The thing is, YouTube isn't bothering to correct any of these fears that people have, because they want people to go and yell at the FCC.
Mm.
They don't care if you think they're the bad guy, because what are you going to do? Stop uploading YouTube videos? Certainly not, especially if you make money working on YouTube in some form or fashion.
Mm-hmm.
No, what you're going to do is you're eventually going to go to the group that might actually listen to you, the federal government. And that's what they're hoping for. They are hoping that enough people will get so mad about this process that they will go to the federal government and beg and plead for the federal government to not do this.
Makes sense. Takes it off their plate. They don't have to deal with it. They let the content creators do it for them.
Right. And, like, here's the thing. As a content creator, you are not going to get fucking fined for this shit. You're not. Like, if people are making people are out there are making videos that are saying, you know, content creators are going to get fined, and those people fall into one of two categories. Either one, they are specifically monetizing all of the fear associated with this, or two, they don't know what the fuck's going on. So it's either you're disingenuous or you're dumb.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, I don't want that to sound as mean as it does. If you don't understand the situation, that's fine. It should not fall to fucking content creators to read through the laws that are put into play in this situation. This is something YouTube needs to deal with exclusively. This is not on us. The onus should not be on us as the content creators when this is entirely a YouTube-centric law that YouTube is the one that needs to deal with. This should not even be impacting us in any meaningful way, and they should be doing a better job of communicating this information to us than they actually are. But, I mean, you know, they're not, because they specifically want us to be riled up and pissed off.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for the follow, Salmon Fishies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Make him dance.
But it's if you are specifically cashing in on this, you know, on this fear, on this paranoia that people are going to get, fuck you. Like, you know, it's one thing if you just don't understand the situation. You shouldn't have to. And the fact that YouTube is kind of forcing you to learn about this shit that you shouldn't have to learn about is deeply fucking depressing. And I wish that wasn't the way it is. But if you're just making like 20 or 30 videos about how everybody's going to be fucked because of this, and you're trying to fucking pad your wallet with all the, go fuck yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking be a better content creator and make better content, you piece of shit.
Stop trying to be TMZ of fucking YouTube world.
Yeah, it's Dexerto already exists. Let it go.
Oh dear.
Is that when you look at him, tell him just to stick to sports?
Oh
Wow.
Too soon, maybe? I don't know. Oh.
Nice. Nice. That was great.
Choice.
All right. So you want to recap the TLDR, Mark?
You're not gonna get fucking fined.
Calm the fuck
And there
down.
you
It's
go,
not as
people.
drastic as you think it is.
COPPA's not going to destroy the world, so neither is the FTC, FCC. So chill the hell
Yeah, like
out.
your video content, just make sure that you check off on your video content that your content is not for kids, but don't do it because you're worried about getting fined. Do it because you'll be put into a fucking category where you get the shittiest goddamn advertising and make the least possible amount of money from it.
Mm-hmm.
Again, this isn't a case of saying my content isn't for everyone. It's saying my content is specifically not for children.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Kids generally do not get great advertising directed their way.
Nah. And most times, if most of those kids are on an account on YouTube anyway, they're not on their own personal account. They're on, like, their parents' account, or they've created an account with a fake email that is supposed to be an adult account. Like,
now, what are the chances that
that's
some of the
common.
channels that do cater to kids for the advertising, where they make their money off the advertising, like Ryan's Toys, like how hard do you think they're going to be affected by this in general?
Ooh, that's a good question. We don't really know what percentage of Ryan's Toys advertising metrics are coming from non-kid friendly content, so it's hard to say. Because YouTube doesn't sell advertising blocks on a per channel basis. You can't go to YouTube and be like, we want our ads to show up on PewDiePie's channel. We want our ads to show up on Ryan's Toys channel. We want our ads to show up on Markiplier's channel. It doesn't work like that. You're buying an age demographic.
mm-hmm.
If Ryan's Toys is pretty consistently catering to a young age demographic to begin with, they probably won't see any kind of significant impact.
Mm-hmm.
Because the advertising that they're getting regardless would be the same way. If they are a little bit more open about their demographic as far as what they're willing to accept advertising wise, like if Ford truck advertisements are showing up on Ryan's Toys YouTube videos, there's probably going to be a negative impact there.
Right.
Okay.
And that's going to be the same for any content creator for whom most of their traffic would presumably be child-friendly content,
Mm-hmm.
but they don't actually tag themselves as a child-friendly channel. I would say like 60 to 75% of these channels probably already put themselves into a child-friendly category and probably aren't going to see a significant impact one way or the other. They're going to be the ones who will be able to tell us how bad the advertising situation is after all of this goes into play. Again, it's the biggest change that's going to come out of this is that YouTube is going to put into place yet another robot system that is going to probably piss off some content creators who deal with stuff that is not kid-friendly but could potentially be flagged that way.
Sure.
Like, you know, if you make like a 20-minute dissertation on Nickelodeon GAC, you know, the possibility, and
Okay.
that's a thing people do. Like,
I get it.
You know,
They're
like,
still fucking hilarious and random, but I get it.
yeah, it's like people talk about, remember this toy from the 90s when we were kids? Feel old yet? You know, whatever. But here's the thing. Like, those content creators are going to be the ones who get shafted on this. And it sucks, but that's just kind of the way it is, you know?
Yep. Now, speaking of getting shafted, let's move on to our next topic because, well, I mean, you pretty much knocked it out of the park and you said what really needed to be said, Mark. So, first off, I just want to really thank you for clearing the air on COPPA and the FTC nonsense that's really been erupting all over the place these past 3 weeks.
Well, I mean, I appreciate it. Like, I talked about this a bit during the live stream on Saturday, too, but it's frustrating that YouTube is doing this because they know better. And the fact that they are putting this on content creators, it sucks. It's shady shit. I don't care for it. And, you know, I wish I could say I was surprised, but I'm not. But it just sucks.
Yep. Now, from one topic of conversation about content creators, we're going to move on to another topic of a specific content creator and this saga that he has been going through in regards to a company he used to work for 11 years. That
You're going to have to cover all of this because I did not have time to watch any of those videos.
Okay, how about you? Okay, well, I'll give you...
I know about what happened. The long and short of it was that this guy used to work for our good friends and neighbors GameStop. And when he left... Apropos of nothing, can I just note, I saw the worst thing ever that's a GameStop exclusive. Some of my friends were talking about Funko Pops, and... We've had this conversation before. A lot of people dislike Funko Pops. I think they're fine. You know, they're inexpensive. If you want to be able to display things that showcase your love of your hobby, but you don't have the kind of money for Nendoroids or expensive Japanese figures or whatever, you know, you could do worse than a $10 Funko Pop. Sure.
Some of the choices that they make are just bad ideas for things to make toys of, you know, dead Laura Palmer, I'm looking at you, or more importantly, trying not to because doing so is vaguely uncomfortable for me. But you know, for the most part, it's just kind of a one-size-fits-all toy for people. And then one of my friends in a Discord that I'm in posted a picture of a Joker Funko Pop that said the Joker parentheses, you know, brackets gamer, and it had like the Joker wearing a headset and holding a controller, and I thought that was the worst thing. Then they found that there was a GameStop exclusive where he's wearing a fucking VR helmet, and I said, "Oh no, fuck you."
Really? Wow, GameStop, what are you doing?
They are just worse.
This is why we lost ThinkGeek. Thanks.
Yes.
I hate it.
Yes.
This is why we lost Funko Land? And why we're probably going to lose Game Informer at some point?
Game Informer I'm not necessarily as upset about, comparatively speaking, because, like, most print magazines are going the way of the dinosaur regardless.
True, but at the same time, they're the one company that's probably trying to still rally the troops, you know, in terms of print journalism for gaming media.
Yeah, it sucks. It sucks that they're at least putting in the effort, but like I can only be so upset about it because we're just losing all of the you know the games media at this point. It's awful and it's terrible, and it's just kind of a fucked up media circle of life that we're dealing with. Okay. I can only get so mad about it.
All right.
But yeah.
All right, so let's loop around back to GameStop, and the YouTuber is Camelot331, and pretty much the synopsis is this is a gentleman who worked for GameStop for 11 years, and at some point he was terminated after he pretty much saw a whole lot of shit going down in the background of the company in those 11 years. And he has been chronicalizing, you know, what he saw in those days of when he worked at GameStop. And I don't know if I started seeing his videos last year or the year before. I don't know how long he's been making videos. I do know that I don't exactly follow him, but his videos pop up regularly enough in my feed that I do watch them from time to time. But these last couple of months, I have been watching a lot of his videos popping up, mainly because, well, for him, shit's getting real. So what's going on right now is now he's being contacted by a ton of employees within GameStop telling their horror stories, and he's sharing them, although he is withholding everybody's names. He is also getting contacted by former bosses who are threatening lawsuits to take down videos.
Okay.
And some of these bosses are scared to hell about losing their own jobs, and they're begging and pleading, and then they're threatening and talking about lawyering up. And now in the most recent video I saw, he's been getting a lot of comments from people who actually work up at the corporate office of GameStop. People at GameStop, the higher-ups, are actually seeing him as a threat, and they are firing people who even so much as mention his videos in the corporate office or at the store level. People are literally being walked out of the company because of him. And you know what? I hate to see people lose their jobs, but GameStop as a company at this point in time has lost their way. They treat their employees like shit, and they need to go. It's going to be a slow death, but they need to realize their time has come and gone, and that their tyrannical, like, corporate ways of how to run a company does not work. And it will not work at the storefront level, because you can definitely see when you walk into a GameStop, not a single GameStop employee looks happy to be there. And it's not because of customer interaction. It's because a lot of these people are stressed the fuck out. And it's mostly from the higher-ups, putting so much pressure on them to perform. A lot of us here, including myself, have worked at retail, so we understand the pressure of the higher-ups coming down upon us. But this is one of those things where you see the blocks of the Jenga tower coming off one by one, and it's just a matter of time before that fucker topples over. And Camelot is pretty much like, he is not waging this war. I'm just telling you this right now. From watching his videos, he is not waging this war. All he is doing is just talking about his time at GameStop, the shit he sees. He's talking about their bad practices, and he is talking about, you know, what all these people are sharing with him since he's left GameStop. And pretty much everything is happening from the other side. So GameStop is shooting themselves. They're seeing him as like this big obstacle that could probably potentially destroy them. And it is mind-boggling that, you know, one YouTuber, and he actually posted this on Twitter. I wish I could show this. He is close to having more followers on Twitter than GameStop. And he is working towards that goal. I mean, I'm going to follow him on Twitter just to help out. So I'm going to turn this over to you guys. And I believe GameStop, by the way, has 84,000 followers on Twitter. 84,000. Doesn't that seem pretty low for a global corporation?
I mean, people don't necessarily like following corporations unless your Twitter account is entertaining or you're like giving away stuff in some capacity or another. I don't follow most corporations, and I don't know a lot of people who do, unless it's like, you know, Arby's or Wendy's or somebody else who posts entertaining shit or shit posts or whatever. That in and of itself is not a metric of whether or not their company is popular, because I mean, also you do need to note a pretty decent amount of people follow EA's social media accounts, and it's not because people like EA. Like we haven't crossed that fucking event horizon.
Oh boy, let's hope we never have to.
Oh boy. Now,
a lot of it is also just because, like, when you really look at how social media presence works for corporations like that in general, a lot of times it's like we were saying, like you're going to follow the Wendy's Twitter because Smug Wendy. You're going to follow the Arby's Twitter because the art team that is behind that entire slew of social media is absolutely fantastic to making something out of nothing. I mean, for fuck's sake, when the new Sonic the Hedgehog trailer launched, they did a side-by-side comparison by saying the old trailer, which was just literally a bunch of wrappers and an empty box, and then the new trailer with an actual Sonic that looked like the Sonic from the movie with those wrappers, which was like, that's a thing they do. Like, yeah,
and like they make all kinds of fucking nerdy shit. Like the most recent advertisement I've been seeing for Arby's is something based around My Hero Academia, or as they say, Boku no Hero Academia.
But aside from the Twitter stuff, however, GameStop, you know, obviously having a low amount, and they yes, like you said, they don't have anything really worth following outside of maybe, hey, check out this deal of the week or whatever. But GameStop as a whole, though, how they've been slowly imploding, and not just because of, you know, the videos coming out from Camelot, but just the fact in general. We've been watching this for the better part of the last 10 years. We've seen how badly this company has been falling apart. Their ad revenue has been dropping,
general revenue, yeah.
Their general revenue has been dropping, like, massively each quarter. And it's just and then they have this new desperation plan where they're going to go about redesigning several GameStops. They're going to be closing more, but they're going to be redesigning the GameStops to be something of like what Microsoft's doing with their Microsoft stores. I walked into one of them recently at the King of Prussia Mall, and yeah, sure, you got your storefront, you got everything over here, but then you got like kind of like a LAN center, interaction center all the way in the back. And they have all kinds of things going on, and that's kind of what GameStop is now going to attempt to do. In fact, they actually have 1 or 2 stores that are test stores that are going through this right now on the East Coast. I forget where, and I saw this about 2 months ago, and I wish I documented that information, to be truthfully honest. But your thoughts about how do you feel about, you know, just GameStop treating their employees like absolute crap just because of one man's videos? Jan?
I mean, let's be honest.
Yeah.
They were going to treat their employees like crap, whether these videos came out or not.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's 100% where we have to start. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They were always going to treat their employees like shit. Like, you know, I worked for Best Buy. Best Buy treated me like shit, completely independent of anything anybody said about them in the media or online or anything like that. Like, that was just the corporate culture. It sucked. So, you know, the fact that this is making them maybe behave like more of a group of assholes sucks and is depressing, but no, they were always going to be dicks.
Yeah. And, like, along those same lines, like, this is just a catalyst for them. Like, this isn't something that's, like, super... Them talking about this guy's series of videos is not a sole reason as to why they're walking people out. There's... you know, an internal culture that GameStop has always had since the 90s of just ill-treating a lot of their baseline employees just in general. If you aren't in some form of position of power, so if you're not a district manager, if you are not a corporate level manager, or you are not somebody that is in the top like 5% of the company, forget it. Your job is expendable, and it always was.
Well, they have been laying off like a good chunk of their district managers lately. They did that about a couple months ago when they were doing their little reorganization.
Up until this point, based on the corporate restructuring, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. But before that, it didn't matter. If you had 20-plus stores that you had to deal with on a regular basis, you were treated like fucking royalty in the 90s and the aughts. Like, that's just all there was to it. And a lot of that had to do with the fact that you basically reported directly back to high-end corporate about basically everything. Like, this is the store that's doing good, this is the store that's doing bad, this is the store that actually is doing front, this is the store that's not doing the best in terms of these specific metrics. Like, the fact of the matter is that district managers didn't have to pay to travel. They got all of their travel comped because corporate was more than willing to allow them to cover these many stores. But don't forget that these guys didn't get to fly everywhere. They literally had to drive their entire district, and their district was like 4 states, maybe 5, depending on where you were. The district manager that I knew when I worked for GameStop back in the like late 90s, because I worked around the time when Dreamcast launched, so 99, 2000. I'll tell you what, right now, the gal that ran the district, because I was in Colorado, that woman had 227 stores that she was a district manager for, and that covered 5 states. That was the 4 Corners and Idaho. Like, those were her states, and I'm like, that's crazy. Like, that's so many stores. I mean, if you're talking like late 90s, early 2000s, that's 227 individual stores that you had to worry about whether or not they were actually meeting specific metrics. Like, yeah, no, they kept you on because you were the only person willing to actually go through that bullshit of having to stay in your car for 8 hours a day just to get to a specific location in another state. only to get the rest of it taken care of. So yeah, and the worst part about it was is like if you didn't like kowtow to those specific individuals, like you got like absolute shit as an employee. So when it really came down to it, a lot of what these guys are going through now, this isn't surprising. Like the fact that they're letting all of these people go and restructuring and bringing in new people and then letting them go and then restructuring, like this is death throes. This is swan song for GameStop. It has been for a few years now, and it's only going to get worse. Whether or not they end up dropping down to a handful of stores in the low hundreds or even just double digits at that point is anyone's guess. But you know, it's GameStop as a company and as a concept is such a foregone, you know, it's like a bygone era at this point where people just aren't physically going into a store to buy physical retail copies of games unless you are in a specific area. Like lots of times if you're in a rural area, you may not get a GameStop. You may only be able to go into Walmart to get your stuff. But the basic idea still exists that having a physical store for somebody who doesn't have that internet connectivity to actually do what they want to do, or heaven forbid they live in a country where the internet's shut down, like in general, having the ability to get, you know, access and hands-on on a lot of this product is, you're only going to have one or two ways to do it. So while there's still a need for that sort of brick and mortar physical store, having somebody at it behind a counter to give you whatever it is that you're supposed to get from the employees at this point, it's still something that's needed, but it's not something that's like as popular as it used to be. And I think that this is just them basically doing whatever they can to flop about in what little water they have left, try to figure out how they're going to still make money for the people that still run the business.
Okay, so going back to the point saying that, yeah, whether or not these videos from Camelot came out or not, they were going to still treat their employees like crap. Now, do you, with Camelot's videos and the fact that it's making the rounds at GameStop HQ, do you think they're going to try and use this as like a scapegoat?
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
And how do you think they're going to apply that as a way of encouraging employees to stick with the company or to better their image, so to speak, through, you know, labeling him a liar or whatever? I don't exactly see how they can do that, considering I have multiple friends who have been working for GameStop for years, and they've been fired for one reason or another that was absolute bullshit.
The thing about GameStop, and I've said this before, like we've talked about it before on the show, like GameStop as a brand would have to completely restructure literally everything that they do in a personal space before anybody would ever take them seriously again. You would have to take literally everyone from the top, like 5% of that company, and just pull that son of a bitch out and replace it. There was no way that in its current iteration, with the people who are currently running it, with the way that they are currently running it, would ever feasibly find a way to stem the bleeding at this point. Like, it's just so far gone that, like, the only way that you could really see something like that changing would be like a complete change to the board of directors.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then maybe you get people in there that actually give a shit about what this is supposed to be all about and help to sort of rebrand and re-image the entirety of what GameStop is supposed to be. You know, it was supposed to be this one-stop shop of all of your gaming and nerding out things. So, you know, games and accessories and clothing and gifts, and it's everything that we would want from, like, think of, like, this is kind of a weird analogy, but if you think of it like the same way as you think of it like the Pokemon Center, it's kind of a one-stop shop specifically for Pokemon stuff, right? Well, if GameStop as a company decided that the best way for them to be able to cater to gamers would be to make it a one-stop shop again, which is why it was originally called GameStop in the first place, is bring back why people gave a fucking shit about going into a physical store, because they wanted to talk to somebody who was knowledgeable about the games that you were going to be buying. They wanted somebody that had an idea about what it was that was going to be coming out that made sense to, you know, the common people that came in to play it, and the hardcore that wanted all of the games day one. You know, get rid of, you know, pre-order exclusives. This is the only way you're ever going to get this thing, and it's never going to be released again. You have to pre-order it and get it. I want to be able to pre-order a game because I want to know that I'm going to be getting a full game, not, you know, a $20 DLC pack that has another $50 of DLC that I end up getting down the road. But that's a totally different sidetrack. But having the ability to walk into a physical store and go, not only can I buy the games that I want to get, I can get a new controller, I can buy a console, I can get a t-shirt, I can pick up some socks, I can grab figures, I can get neat little nerdy things that are like gotchas, basically. You've got these little, you know, small little $4 or $5 little boxes that are like this big, that have like a figure in it that's exclusive to GameStop or exclusive to a series or a game or a show. You know, you have the variety and the want and the necessity to basically go, there's a reason I go there instead of just going to Walmart or Best Buy or just buying it online. There's a reason why I come to the physical store and why it is that I want to come in and have fun and hang out at this store, so that I have the ability to interact with not just the employees, but other gamers, other people that want to be able to share in that experience. And that's something that's so difficult to really put together anymore, because there's a reason why arcades don't really do very well or exist in mass like they used to in the United States. There's a reason why a lot of this gathering and socializing and things like that have changed, because the internet as a baseline, doing what we do on Twitch right now, is a big reason why things have changed so much. Doing what people do on YouTube is a reason why things have changed so much. But the baseline is, if GameStop really wanted to be able to just like tourniquet off the blood and have them not literally bleed out into the ocean at this point, like the only way they're going to do that would be a complete and utter refocus on exactly what made them so popular in the first place.
Yeah, I mean, it's like the people that I used to go to the GameStop to talk to have either long since left the industry on the altogether, or in the case of one of the guys, went and opened up a tabletop shop that I go to now if I want to talk to gaming people. Different kind of gaming, but it still caters to the exact same basic need of wanting to talk nerdy shit with somebody in a retail environment, with somebody who knows what they're talking about,
without it feeling super awkward.
Right.
Because there's plenty of times where I've walked into a game shop myself and the employees behind the counter had literally no fucking clue what I was talking about when I started talking about the new Throne of Eldraine set for Magic the Gathering. I started talking about the cards and all of the previews and the spoilers and stuff like this, and this guy kind of just stood behind the counter and stared at me like I was a goddamn alien. He had no idea what I was talking about.
Yeah,
you want to pre-order that?
Yeah, like the freaking GameStop that I used to go to, they had people there who knew who I was, who knew like what my connection to gaming was in general, and like I would bring in like games that I had received a review copy of. I would walk in there. I walked in there with Rage, and I was like, "Hey, I got Rage early, and you guys want to test it out?" And we would just fucking play the demo copy for like an hour in the store.
I remember one of the coolest things I ever had happen at a game store, which was, it was an EB Games before it was converted over to a GameStop. Halo 2 launch night. I was hanging out front with a bunch of friends. We had a TV hooked up to the car. We were playing like 4-player split screen of original Halo, waiting for the launch. And the guy is just out there. It's like 10 o'clock. He just says, "Hey guys, why don't you come on in for a second?" He fucking hooks us up. We're sitting there playing Halo 2 all the way until launch. Which was so cool. And I don't know what happened to the rest of the guys, but I do know one of them. And I'm not going to say his name because I still think he works for the company. I did see him earlier this year at one of the GameStops, but I don't know if he's still with the company. Really nice guy. I had a little competition with him about collecting the entire Dreamcast library. He beat me, by the way. But he was pretty cool, and I'm happy that he's, at least there's one person I know that's still around that's recognizable that I can just, talk and shoot the shit with at a GameStop. But it's sad when I can walk into a GameStop and I see this chick in the back, and all she's trying to do is, try to convince me to buy the disc protection plan, or are you sure you don't want to pre-order anything today, or you wanna buy the DLC through us, or anything other. I mean, they're doing nothing but pushing. They're just.
And I do want to step in just for a second.
Go ahead.
I know you didn't intend it this way, but I just wanted to make a note. It's not a gendered thing, obviously.
It's not a gender thing. No,
I just wanted to step in for a second, just because of the way that sentence structure ended up flowing. Like, I just wanted it to be known. Like, no, that's not what we mean. Because there was one. My friend Joel J Rose does my artwork, has done various artwork, and he has said, I know this isn't on topic, but he has said he will do your emotes basically for free, Robert. He just needs to get his computer stuff situated, so he does not give a shit. So,
well,
yeah,
cool.
I know. I told him, I was like, he'll pay. He's like, no, I really don't care. He just needs to do certain things first that, like, I'll talk to you about it off stream. But
we'll talk about it off stream, Mark, please.
So the thing is like, he would take me to the GameStop that he would go to regularly, and there was a young lady who was there who honestly scared the shit out of me, because she was like, "Oh yeah, I 100%ed Demon Souls," and I was like,
"What?
I don't know how I feel about that."
Oh.
Yeah, it's just like it's it's bad enough that I've done it. Like, it's just weird to me to, like, go into the store and just somebody's like, "Yeah, I've done that." Oh. I don't know how I feel about that.
I thought I was the only one. But I think we need to wrap up this topic real quick. So, some final thoughts on the Camelot saga with GameStop, Mark?
This was coming one way or the other as far as that goes. Like, that was always going to happen in some form or fashion. The fact that it happened because of this particular person, calling out GameStop, it would have been something that would have happened eventually. I do feel as though, good for him that he has been able to turn this negative time of his life into something positive for him. But yeah, this was always coming as far as that goes.
Yep. All right. So the his name is Camelot331. So you can hit him up on Twitter, help him increase his following numbers to overlap GameStops, or follow him on YouTube, and have fun watching his videos. He's got a lot of content there to check out. Moving on, because, we have to end this on a high note.
That's really hard to check out.
Yeah. We're going to end this on a good note tonight. Let's talk about the Stadia launch.
Oh. I thought you said we were going to end this on a good night.
Well, I mean,
it's a good note for us,
because we get the shit on it. I mean...
So,
go ahead, Jan.
So, the Google Stadia, we all kind of understood what this whole system was about. Basically, cloud-based gaming, where the gaming itself is all done via streaming servers, and you have the ability to use a specific controller with a specific type of Chromecast that it's called the Chromecast Ultra, that allowed you to connect this controller directly to the unit so that you could play these games. Well, it came out a lot earlier than a lot of people anticipated. It came out.
I don't even think they've even announced the release date, to be honest.
Well, this is like a founders pack type deal. Like, it's, like for the people who are, who would sort of be, I guess, brand ambassadors or something of that nature.
Then.
No, not that, because you can buy it right off the website right now.
That wasn't what it was intended to be, but that's kind of what these people are being. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, but what ended up happening is that not only did this launch way before a lot of people expected it to, because a lot of people were expecting a 2020 launch date.
Okay, second beta, Mr. Instinct.
Yeah. No, this is basically a second beta, but you're paying to get into it this time because you're buying the actual hardware. There's two pieces to it, the entire setup when you get it. There's like 5 things in the box, but there's 2 entire pieces that actually utilize the infrastructure for how the Stadia actually works. There's a Chromecast Ultra that you get that plugs into the HDMI, and you power that with USB. And then the controller. Oh, I'm sorry. The gender-neutral controller.
Yeah, that was a very weird way to describe your controller. Just in general.
Yeah. Thanks.
I don't know
Google.
why they did that.
Fucking weird, but whatever.
I'm trying to hold in my laughter right now. It just the
Oh
way
no,
you said
please,
that.
by all means. It's that's exactly how they marketed it.
I'm trying to
You go
not
and you
laugh
look at the
because I think I'll
website.
offend somebody by laughing at that.
Please, I'm laughing my ass off at it. I thought it was fucking hilarious. Why would you call? First of all controllers are gender neutral. They're controllers. They're
Except the
plastic.
pink and the blue
Nobody
ones,
cares.
right?
That's not
Right?
gender neutral. That's just a color choice. Who gives a fuck?
Okay.
Yeah, pink used to be a color that was decidedly male oriented.
Yeah.
So
And blue was female, so oops. Anyway, long story short, Google decided, hey, we're going to release this system early. We're going to make it the Founders Pack. So it's like a Day 1 edition Xbox One, right? All right, fine, sure, whatever. You can go ahead and get it. So launch titles included Destiny 2, Samurai Showdown, and a number of smaller indie titles. That's about 15, I think, total titles. I have to go back and look at the actual numbers, but there's a few titles that came out.
I think the
but it's not-
Dreamcast had more launch titles. Jesus Christ.
isn't Destiny 2 free?
Oh, wouldn't you know it? Technically it is, but if you want to play the Shadowkeep expansion, which is what they're pushing on it, you have to pay for that expansion. But that being said, I and a number of us who are either here, like myself, or Hubs, who are part of the FTC, were very interested in seeing how Samurai Showdown actually functioned on this device. Let me tell you what happened. Not only is it probably one of the worst possible games that you could actually have on this system, it is actually awful on how it actually runs. So much so that, man, I've seen nothing but a bunch of FGC guys on Twitter just absolutely losing their goddamn minds about how often this game disconnects, locks up, and freezes. Like, if you can actually get an entire match played through without at least dropping out of the game once, yeah, you got some sort of wild ass fucking fiber optic connection sitting right next door to Google servers, because hot diggity damn, ain't nobody had a full game in that game on the Stadia playthrough yet.
Yeah, I watched fucking footage of that and just like how jank it looked. I was like, oh my god.
And let's not talk about just how jank it looked. Let's talk about how graphically janked it looked.
Well, I mean, beyond that, if you really want to talk about graphically janked, how about we go back and we look at a game that came out just a number of years ago, and in fact actually just recently launched on PC, Red Dead Redemption 2. It looks like it's fucking Superman 64. It looks fucking awful on the Stadia.
And how about all those supposed 4K supported games?
Absolutely nothing runs higher than 480 to 720p on this system, period. I don't care what kind of an internet connection you have. The best game has there's one game that can support at max 720, and that is actually Samurai Showdown. None of the other games run at a solid anything above 720p, period. 4K, nothing. It isn't possible. It might be if you stand still long enough for the game to actually catch up and do absolutely nothing, you might get a 4K resolution. But other than that, no. There is no 4K support right now. It is absolute trash. It's interesting that we would talk about this kind of technology in this kind of day and age. Stream gaming didn't work with OnLive. Stream gaming didn't work with Stadia. Stream computing as a baseline doesn't really function the way you would want it to in the way the cloud as an infrastructure on the internet function. It's not what it's built for yet. But it traditionally is not really what it's built for. On the inside, the hardware isn't all that awful. It's actually got some pretty decent concepts behind what they're actually trying to do with it. However, when you get, and I'm not even kidding, I think over the last 48 hours, I've seen 270 plus tweets just in the last 2 days about people basically saying that their Chromecast Ultras overheated so much that when they went to try to unplug it from the television, it almost melted the plastic on the back of their TV sets.
Sounds like they just invested in that Samsung Android Galaxy 7 phone technology.
I mean, there isn't a battery inside, so thank God it won't explode, but it definitely got too hot. The biggest issue of why part of this is as a problem is that the Chromecast, the device itself that's supposed to actually host all of the data that shows up on your television or your monitor or whatever you're playing it on, as a baseline, has no cooling at all because it is literally a medallion. It's a medallion. It's the medallion.
Yeah, I got
the
a Chromecast.
circle one.
Yeah, it looks like just an oversized thumbstick.
No, honey, it's not. It doesn't look like this. It looks like it's actually a disc. It's about this big around and has an HDMI dongle that comes off of it. This is what the Chromecast Ultra is. It's about this big around. Okay, it's a sizable piece. Probably weighs about 2 pounds. It's not very heavy, but it has no inherent cooling. It's just all solid media.
2 pounds, and they expect it just to be held in by a tiny little USB interface?
HDMI.
That's just like...
It's HDMI, and it's about as heavy as a Switch. It's a little lighter than the Switch without the controllers. It's not a light device, because it was built specifically for use with the Stadia. The problem is no heating. Like the thing overheats because there's no cooling. The device itself runs purely on Wi-Fi unless you run a very, and I mean a very specific power unit that only comes with the Stadia box that allows for an Ethernet connection, which is also adding to the heat problem. And it only runs on USB and HDMI. So the device itself, as a baseline, is built for shit. It is not built for long play sessions. It is built for small gaming sessions, 20 minutes to an hour tops. Anything over that, like if you go in for a marathon Destiny session, or you're going to do like a full like 3 or 4 hours of Red Dead, like actually just running around and doing side quests and stuff, good luck. The whole thing's probably just going to shut off because it overheats multiple times. So there is already a problem with just how the device itself is actually set up. The controller as a baseline is very minimalistic. It's got the controls that it needs. It has a internal device that communicates with the Ultra, and that's it. That's all it's for. It's an interface device. There's literally no hardware other than the interface device inside the actual gamepad. So it's got the PCB and a connection device that either allows you to play it wirelessly or wire it into that power brick and gives you the ability to have a wired controller, which also doesn't work very well. And then you've got all of these people talking about buzzwords like negative lag, which that's not actually a thing, and 4K support, and it's just a nightmare. It's an absolute nightmare. Now,
or low latency.
I remember you had shared a tweet, like a thread, from a gentleman that worked at Sun Microsystems.
Yes, I shared that.
And that was actually super insightful because a lot of what they were doing at Sun at the time is exactly what Stadia is. It's inherent to understand that cloud computing and remote computing in general is not something that has only just recently surfaced. This is something that has been done for probably more than a decade or so, maybe longer than that, almost 2. Since the late 90s, early 2000s. This is something that has been more prevalent, especially with laptops and thin clients in the workspace. When you have the ability to host a server on site or on a farm or wherever it is that you normally would have your server set up, you have the ability through the operating system of your networking hardware to allow for a roaming profile. This is a profile that no matter what system you log into will be your desktop. Now, this
Citrix has been basically marketed around that for years at this point.
Absolutely. Well, you could do it with Citrix. You do it with Windows. You can do it with Linux. There's a couple of other OSs that are a lot more cheaper. That's all they build their thin clients for. Hell, there are thin clients that are literally USB dongles. Like they're not big either. They're like this big. And it's got 8 gigs of RAM, and it supports your ability to remote into a Citrix desktop through a small personal OS that's super lightweight, and that's it. It's this big. It's a tiny little USB, and you just plug it in. Overheats like a son of a bitch, but it works. But this technology is not something that has been recently created. Well, the gentleman that worked for Sun was working on a project, and I think it was like the Solar Blade or the Sun Blade or something like that. But it was the concept of thin cloud-based computing.
Yeah,
so
an operating system running on a cloud system.
It was all virtual. It was all virtual. There was literally no hardware other than a card reader and a power source inside of this blade. That was it. That was all that was in there. And all of your information was on this card with a smart chip, just like your credit cards have. The chip that you plug in to pay your bills or to buy groceries. It's the same concept. This card would slide in and plug into this computer, and instantly you would have access to your server and your desktop and your virtual machine just by plugging your card. And it didn't matter what blade you plugged it into, because the profile and all that information was on the card. So you had this roaming profile on a card that you can just plug in and unplug at any time and get your desktop instantly. Now, while this concept isn't foreign, this is exactly the same idea as what they're doing with Stadia. And the problem is that Stadia just it's at this point right now where it's still a very infantile system in how the infrastructure works and how the server technology functions. While cloud storage is not something that people are super new with, like obviously cloud storage has been a thing for a while. Things like Dropbox and OneDrive and Google Drive and all of these things. This is cloud infrastructure, but it's storage. It does not run whatever it is that you're trying to run off of that cloud. It will still take a file and install it on your local machine and allow you to read that device or read that file that's being stored on the cloud on your local machine. It is not the same thing. OnLive tried to do the exact same thing that Stadia did, and it still failed. It's going to continue to fail because this technology just isn't what it's built for. So the issue here now is that Google, in their deep-ass pockets, seem, as it stands, to not give a shit and are going to continue to push this platform as the next wave of technology for gaming and continue to tout this system and toot their own horn about how good Stadia actually is, to the point where there have been a number of Twitter accounts that have opened up recently that have been found out that are actually bots praising Stadia and how this is actually perfectly fine, and if you guys aren't getting the right connections, then obviously it's your internet. You guys just need better internet. Or it's not your system. My Ultra never overheats, but I've also got it in front of a window that's only facing south, that's only like 50 degrees. So it never really overheats. I don't know what you're talking about. It's crazy. This is like Russian polling all over again. It's absolutely insane that they would go to these lengths to actually find a way to try to push the Stadia as a system that is still viably, functional beyond obvious problems that we have all seen since its launch. I don't really understand why they're doing it. I don't understand why the Stadia, even as a concept, exists physically in this timeline. Like, we live in a timeline where this is a thing that exists, and the company that created it is trying to make it the next console.
That's
and I don't
Google
really
likes
get
to
it.
think that they're the next big thing on everything,
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
I
I mean,
remember when it
Google
was a Metro
Glass is
there.
basically, a thing that died off.
I guess they don't
But
want to
they
live
gave
with
that to a
another
fucking
failure,
college
which
try.
is why they're probably trying to push the Stadia as hard as they are.
I mean, if they really wanted to not have to deal with that kind of stuff, they'd look at the current generation and look at Microsoft and go, hey, so what did you not do with the Xbox One correctly? Cool. And then turn back to their devs and go, don't do that.
Yeah, but even from there, Microsoft has, made strides in, recentering themselves and are looking to be just as dangerous as they were with the Xbox 360 with the next gen, with Xbox Scarlet.
And I don't doubt that, and I understand that, but when you look at the fundamental differences between what an actual home console is and does and what the Stadia is and does, they are not alike. This is Sesame Street. One of these things is not like the other. And the Stadia is the thing that is not like the others. And the biggest issue that we have with this device at this point is the fact that it is attempting to do something with a technology that is not truly built as of right now. I'm sure it could be in the future if done correctly, but as of right now is still such an infinitely awful idea compared to what... I mean, let's just take this as a baseline. Xbox Game Pass, Origin Premier, PlayStation Now, give me more. I'm sure there's plenty. All of these companies have one thing in common. All of these libraries of games are available through their physical platforms because it stores it on the local system. And it runs just fine. And as long as you're paying the monthly fee for that specific add-on to that physical system, it will always allow you to download that software directly to your device. The Stadia doesn't even let you own the games. You're just renting everything. You bought the controller, you're renting the games. So,
like the thing to keep in mind is that cloud computing, even in the stage that it's in now, is not great. Like, putting aside, security concerns and things of that nature, right? Just taking cloud computing from a technical perspective. I don't know if y'all have used Citrix in any meaningful way, but I do. I work from home on the reg, and running a Citrix-based virtual machine is not the most viable way of doing your business. You know what I'm saying? You are frequently going to be in a position where the productivity tools that you are using may work okay-ish, but like I've had issues where just Excel will shit the bed working.
Yeah.
And this is fucking Excel. Like, this isn't, Red Dead Redemption. This isn't like a high-tech game or something. This is spreadsheet software. So
I mean,
when you imagine the idea of a device running full-on video games at high resolutions and everything of that nature, like, that's something where if you can't even get Excel to run consistently and smoothly in a cloud environment, what in the fuck makes you think that, like, Red Dead is going to work that way?
Or Destiny, where you have to constantly have an active connection the entire time you're playing it for it to allow you to continue to play it.
Yeah, there you go. You got a game that's online enabled all the time, and you have to be online constantly streaming this game. So you've got huge pockets of data that are probably getting, like, dropped because you got two things trying to access it at once.
Well, there's just not enough. There's not enough bandwidth at that point.
Yeah,
and to Mark's credit, I understand where he comes from because I do the same thing. I work from home, but I have my physical machine, but I have specific software that I have to load into Citrix to gain access to. So if I don't have my VPN connection and my access to my Citrix for specific programs, if I try to run more than like 2 programs at the same time, the whole rest of the thing shits the bed. Like there's no way it'll work. So I have to actually use my VPN to use direct links to the programs on my company's server to be able to actually functionally work. So like I this is a thing that I do on a daily basis. I work from home every single day, so I understand exactly what he's talking about. I will also note that Microsoft Excel is not exactly the best program when it comes to even being on a physical machine, because if you try to open up a spreadsheet that's got 50 pages and tableted data from like 50,000 sources, you're going to need a machine that's got at least 8 gigs of RAM, or the whole thing's going to shit the bed. It doesn't matter if you're on a virtual machine or not.
Oh yeah, I know. Excel is fucking terrible about its optimization, and if you have data loss prevention installed in any capacity, it's going to die doing like the most mundane of shit. I know.
I'm going to sum columns like A through ZZ, and the whole thing just eats shit. It's worse than trying to run Maya, but I get it.
You know, like Destiny and Red Dead are way more system intensive than Excel is.
Oh yeah,
even
absolutely.
like because if you're using Excel for big data, you're just fucking stupid. You know, at that point, like that's what Hadoop is for. That's what Elastic is for.
Absolutely.
You don't fucking use Excel for that shit. But and poor Robert's over here. Like, what the fuck are you guys talking about?
No, I've used Excel numerous times. I've had
but I mean like fucking Hadoop and Elastic. I
assume that there are programs that have higher functions that cannot be used by Excel.
It's not even that. It's you don't care. Trust me, it doesn't. You don't fucking care.
It doesn't apply to me, so I don't need to worry about it.
Exactly.
Right, exactly. But yeah. So the point of it all is that like something like a Red Dead or a Sam Show or like all of these like cutting edge games, even games that were cutting edge a year or two ago, require a lot more bandwidth if you're going to do something as a cloud-based setup, and it's just why? This is just not a good idea. And we had been saying for all this time, this is a terrible goddamn idea.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And I'm going to ask a question that I asked
now.
And I'm going to go back to a question I asked when we first talked about the Stadia. Put your money down. How long do you think this is going to last until Google decides to finally shut it down? Because now that it
has more money than God, so
that may be the case. But the fact of the matter is that it's come out. It's already giving bad first impressions on launch. Doesn't matter how limited it is, and doesn't matter how many improvements it's come. There's going to be problems with this service. There's going to be constant problems with this service, and Google can throw all the money they want to it. It's not going to make people subscribe to it.
So how long did they hold on to fucking Google Plus?
That's a good question.
They did. Google Plus lasted like 2 or 3 years.
Longer than that.
Well, it was just after Facebook really took off when they started Google Plus, I believe.
I think they just decommissioned it like last year.
Let's see here. It was decommissioned.
I want to say 2017.
2018.
Okay.
Told you.
It started and was launched 8 years ago, June 28th, 2011, and was discontinued April 2nd, 2019. I apologize. It was actually this year when it was finally discontinued for consumer and brand account.
Well, I haven't seen or had access to it in about a year or so. So they might have just finally pulled the plug.
Just keep in mind, like this was a thing that was basically free for the majority of users that they were not making any money off of, and they just spent years and years throwing good money after bad. Trying to make this a thing. So imagine what they will do with something where they will actually have some degree of brand defenders, and where there's actual money on the table. Like they're going to go all in on this because it's fucking Google, and they just go all in on everything. The Alphabet Corporation as a whole wants to make as much money as possible in every possible field. So they're just gonna fucking throw this money at it because they have the money available to do it with.
Okay, well then, looking at Google Plus, I will give it 7 years. Anybody want to match my wager?
I'll say 5.
Okay.
Yeah, I probably agree with Mark and err on the side of the smaller, because there's a difference between fundamental technologies that's used to integrate into Google's baseline, like what they did with Google Plus, And I would actually attribute a large portion of why Google Plus ended up just getting absolutely dunked on and destroyed was its absolute necessity to create a Google Plus account in order to comment on YouTube. That was a huge debacle and was part and parcel for why I believe Google Plus ended up having to fold in the first place. Had they not done that, I'm pretty sure it would probably still be around today. This is a different thing. Like, I give it 3 to 5 years tops, and I think that even that is being super generous, purely just because they do not have the infrastructure in place to offer literally everybody Google Fiber to make the Stadia work the way they exactly want it to.
I give it 7 years, mainly for the fact that I do see technology advancing a little bit within 5 years, to which Google will attempt to take advantage of the new technology to give it kind of a last stand type of thing. And them being stubborn, I can see them trying to push harder the second time around, but again, I'm pretty sure they will pull the plug on this after a while.
Physical limitations notwithstanding, it has nothing to do with the physicality of the actual device that's causing this issue. It has everything to do with the bandwidth problem. And as long as companies like AT&T and Comcast...
Well, that's part of the technology side. I mean, as we get along, I mean, you got...
It has nothing to do with technology. It has everything to do with the fact that these companies are not offering the speeds and the technology that people need in their homes at a decent, affordable enough of a price for this kind of a system to be viable.
Well, you got companies like Verizon and Comcast... although a little bit pricey at the moment, offering gigabit connections. So that is a technology thing right there. But within the next 5 years or so, I'm sure there's going to be more cable companies and more local cable companies as well that will be offering the gigabit, which will bring down the price a little bit, making it more affordable. Because remember, back when we went from dial-up to DSL to cable, the prices were pretty high, but they've come down eventually.
Yeah, how long did it take, though? How long did it take, though?
About 5 to 6 years between each. I mean, DSL came out at the end of the 90s. Cable modems really took off, but it took a few years in the early 2000s.
As a baseline in the technology, sure. But as a baseline in the pricing structure, absolutely not. I currently have a 1 gigabit connection from a not conglomerate ISP. I pay almost $200 a month for that technology. That is almost 3 times the amount of money that I would need to spend in at least 8 other countries who have not only had gigabit technology longer than us, are currently working on a 5 and 10 gigabit home line for the same cost.
Well, they got to download their massive amounts of porn somehow.
It has nothing to do with that, and you know it.
It's a joke. Laugh, God damn it.
I will not laugh about net neutrality. I'm sorry. I can't. That is like, if you really ever want me to actually go off on a subject, net neutrality is the one thing that I will absolutely explode about, because it drives me absolutely fucking crazy that we have to spend... There are people right now who live in rural areas that get what are touted at 5 and 10 meg connections who are paying the exact same amount that I pay for a 1 gigabit connection in an urban area.
Oh, I understand, but we're going to have to save that for another time.
But yes, that is my issue. The technology will advance. Yes. The cost for that technology will not. It will not catch up anytime soon until some form of regulation is changed within the FCC and within ISPs to stop that sort of weird diagonal that's currently happening in this market. And this is why the Stadia, while is a good idea in concept, will not functionally work for that long.
And on that note, it's a good way to close this topic of conversation. So, because what more is there to say about Stadia? It started with a bang, all right. But anyway, I want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. I wish there was more people to hear Mark's monologue about the FTC and COPPA. I felt that was very vital for people to know about. And hopefully more people will watch it when this is archived on YouTube. And it will not be flagged for children.
And all I'm saying is that grifter's going to grift. So,
Word up. All right, so I want to say thank you for tuning in tonight, and on behalf of Mark and Jan, thank you and good night. Actually, let's find somebody to raid. Mark, who do you want to raid tonight? I'm going to give it to you because I picked the last couple of people.
I have no idea who's fucking online at the moment.
Okay, well, before we end the show, then, I'm going to find someone for us to raid, everybody. So please deal with my dumb-looking face while I'm going through my follow section. All right. Oh, hey.
We can always just raid Andre.
How about this? Sweet Johnny Cage, Blacktastic, or Mars Girl, or Risa Havoc? Who do you guys want?
I don't really watch.
All right, let's see. What is Blacktastic? Looks like he is speed running. Haven't seen him do that in a while. I really enjoy him. Oh, he's speed running Mega Man 9. It looks like.
Oh, nice.
So, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Go, come on. Not like that. Not like this. There we go. Thank y'all, and good night.